So, as everyone does know, the Season 10 update in Motorfest is coming very soon. I want to say thank you, Ubisoft, for allowing me to play the early access part of Season 10 here. I honestly really do appreciate it, and I wanted to go over some of the stuff here in this update. So, first things first, guys, I figured this time around I would go over all of the rewards that you will be able to get and or see in this, as I do know a lot of players do tend to wonder what you can get. So, right now you will be seeing the main stage upgrades and things you can obviously get, like the rim, the ivory tower one there. Right after that, though, the next part of it, you will then see you'll get yourself some LP points and the rough 3,400k. So I would say a lot of those rewards aren't all that great, but for the main stage thing, the Bugatti Devo Emerald Storm Edition is now here. So I would say a lot of players got on the crew too to get this. Well, it is now in the main stage here in Motorfest. So, yeah, maybe doing the summit on the crew 2 probably was a little bit of a waste of time, if you know what I'm saying. But hey, at least it is now on this thing. If you already own it, well, probably a lower percentage. But besides that, though, the next part I wanted to show here is the upcoming summits. So the first one here, guys, will have a late show tint. Obviously, nothing too insane there. Aston Martin, looking at this summit as well, you will, of course, see the Renault RS01, which is obviously a car from the Crew 2. We have the new Maserati there in Street Tier 2, and the Toyota 2000 GT as well. And overall, the summit is obviously Street Tier 1 and Tier 2 with a couple of racing events in there. Besides that, though, the next part of it, guys, you'll get yourself a Nitro, which I would say looks kind of cool, but again, it's probably a regular Platinum Nitro. Or at least I should probably say a Platinum rewarded rare Nitro is a better way to put it. And you'll also see another Street Tier 2 and racing slash some hyper stuff in the next summit as well. So it's really nothing too really insane going on there, I would probably say. After that, though, guys, the next part, you'll see a new orange smoke. And also, you're probably looking at the cover. Yes, that is the Hayabusa. We have finally gotten a new motorcycle in the crew. It has only taken 3 years, man. I'm so happy to see that. It's finally happening. And then in the Primal Summit, we'll have an Underglow. Then finally, guys, the Street and Toge will have ourselves another custom RX-8. This one is going to have twin turbos on it, so I would say it honestly looks pretty cool. Nothing too wild or insane going on there, but hey, a new RX-8. Besides that, though, the next thing I wanted to show is the Prestige tickets. You will get yourself the BMW M4 CSL, so I would say players would be happy about that if you didn't get it. We have the AMG 1, obviously all older Summit cars if you guys missed them, and we also have the Gladiator Onyx Off-Road there. And then finally, we'll have ourselves the M3 Street Rider Edition. So if you guys did miss out on some of these cars, they are now available. The other thing I wanted to show here is pretty cool. You'll also be able to buy the bundles for the summits on the bottom here, which will be a little bit cheaper. So if you guys are newer, or you're looking to do these summits and all that, at least you can get the cars a little bit cheaper now instead of spending all that money to get barely anything back from the summits and all that. So at least that is a good change, I would say, or at least something that will definitely help a lot of newer players. From there, though, the next thing I wanted to show here is the first playlist you will be able to play in this, the Motorfest Late Show. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably saw the trailer for this. Keep in mind, though, this will be drip fed, okay? You could do the first 4 events, then after that, it's basically 1 event a week, and I will be talking about this in another video tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that, because to be honest, I think this is honestly kind of dumb that they are drip feeding these events again, because for me, though, it basically makes the beginning of the update, at least the beginning of Season 10, honestly kind of low in content, if I'm being real. I mean, you basically get 4 events there for that. There will be rewards like the BMW, but you won't be able to get them until basically 3 months later, which is honestly wild. And then the next part of it is going to be the Hawaii Grand Tour. Obviously, it will give you the Ferrari 250 GTO and $2 million for doing it, and also a unique title, and that's kind of all it is for that event. It's obviously almost an hour-long race there. That is going to pay you $2 million, and to be honest, I'm glad it's paying you something, because that was really a concern of mine, that it wasn't going to give you that much money. So I am kind of happy about that, which I would say many players are. At least it will pay something, but I will be real. I don't know if I'm going to do an hour-long race that much in this game, as I really don't know if I'll fall asleep or not. I'm not going to lie there. But besides that, guys, I also wanted to show a few of parts of the playlist here as well. There's obviously some new cars like the Alpine and the other cars you saw in the Elite Bundle. And in this, I'm like 95% sure you have to use the cars they give you. I think someone said it was apparently like you could use your own cars or something, but I don't think it is. unless I'm losing my mind. So these races will be a little bit, I guess you could say some of them are kind of unique, some are not. Some of them kind of just are races with some stuff going on with the banners and some pieces to show you that you're in a playlist. And there's also like a drone or something that will end up being there as well that will kind of mix things up a little bit. In this first race, you also get to switch between both of the Alpine cars, which is pretty cool. So I will probably admit that in these races, you might end up going, okay, that's kind of cool, listening to some dialogue. The races might just be regular pathways, nothing too insane. In this first race, you are basically switching with both of the Alpines here that, a lot of players are probably familiar with that are coming. So at least you guys will be able to get those on that aspect of having some new cars, or at least being able to test them out. Besides that, guys, the next race you'll be doing is once again a little bit different than the other one in the playlist, and I was going to do a playlist review. Kind of hard to do that when you can only play 4 of the races and I have to wait for the other one, so that probably won't be happening. But for this, though, it's kind of similar to the Hollywood action playlist where you have to drive over the things, and there's also stuff happening in the race itself. So you will end up seeing a few things happening, like some AI racers and some other like jumps and different things going on in there. With the drone, you'll see like a helicopter in some places. It was a pretty cool race, but I definitely felt like it was very similar to the Hollywood action, which is honestly not a terrible thing. I would say a lot of players might enjoy a race like this one instead of the first race that you most likely will end up encountering there. But again, I will talk about some of this in the next video because I do feel like the entire drip-fed thing with this playlist is honestly very dumb to me. But the other part of it, guys, will have to do with TrackForge. Now, we all do know there will end up being new stuff with the TrackForge thing in the game, which will end up being street and toge. So there's obviously some new things you can add and different things to build up tracks and all that. And I did end up deciding to play a few of the tracks, but for some odd reason, I don't know what is causing it, but the game wasn't running very well for me whatsoever this time, at least in the early access build. The other ones I were in were totally fine, but this one was not all that great. So I don't know what happened there. It was running a little bit funky. Some areas were kind of choppy, so I do apologize for some of that, guys. But the toge and street racing modules for this, I would say, are pretty cool. I gotta admit, I don't really play in the TrackForge events, as I kind of got really bored of it on the other one, guys, that came out. Like, I just didn't find it all that fun. I found it to be very similar to each other, which I'll talk about this again tomorrow, as I do think this is a pretty cool thing. But I'm being real, though, I feel like in some ways going through these races, you're just going to keep seeing the same things over and over, the same type of modules and different road designs, as I did like 4 different races and saw the exact same S-corners or the exact same type of walls or the same trees in the same areas with the buildings, and everything kind of felt very similar in a way. I felt like I was kind of doing the same race multiple times, but again, I'll talk about this in a separate video, as I kind of feel like other players might feel a bit similar there, guys. I have a feeling I'm not the only one. Something I definitely noticed when I was doing it. The final thing I wanted to show here that's part of this update is the custom show rewards. You'll get yourself a tire. And there's honestly not a lot of cool stuff in this. You'll get yourself a smoke, and then also another tire, and also like I think it's a rooftop vanity as well, and then there's also like another window tint or something. So there's not a ton of stuff there, and I don't even do the custom show because I honestly can't stand it. But there is obviously some new stuff there if you guys want to go after it. And to be real, that will pretty much do it for the initial part of Season 10. I do know stuff is coming later on, but the initial update for Season 10 might end up being a little bit less than what I would say players might have been expecting. I gotta admit, I thought it was going to be a little bit more than this. I do know there's probably other stuff coming mid-season and different things coming out and all that, which is cool, but the beginning of the update itself did not have nearly as much stuff as I was kind of expecting from it. I mean, you basically have the 4 races from the playlist and then the long race. But besides that, guys, there really is not all that much going on there besides some new cars. But do let me know what you guys think from your initial impressions of Season 10 in the comments below. And do stay tuned for tomorrow, which is where I want to talk about the entire drip-fed playlist thing again, which honestly, I do not understand the thought process behind that. Now, I do understand we'll get something mid-season, but again, it's kind of being drip-fed regardless of the stuff that we are getting, whether it is more content coming later on in the season, man. So players will jump on and basically get off very quick. And then also the entire TrackForge with the street and toge thing, how I kind of feel like in some ways it will probably get boring insanely quick with how the route system is set up on it.